Good morning, everybody. We have been seeing or exploring this word meditation and mindfulness from the perspective of religion. Most of the people think that meditation or mindfulness only from the perspective of religion, either Buddhistic perspectives or Hinduistic perspectives or Sufi perspectives. But as as you know, doing a bit of research. So, if you can really find the same principles what have been explained in all religions, so that is what I was really interested in, and being in the under the umbrella of Swajaya. So we encountered so many beautiful scientists who wrote so much and beautiful literature, and that literature is what I wanted to share today. So the first thing is, 2,500 years back, Buddha gave the principle, be with the breath, observe your breath and slowly empty your mind, was given 2,500 years ago. But as we all know, we got evoluted 2005 years. The planet itself got evoluted from the past 2,500 years, and we still talk about the mind. But I think now we need to, because we got evoluted, we need to include our heart, because mind is the aspect of where the thinking happens, the conditioning happens, the suppression happens, which we have been talking. But the component called heart has been excluded. So in meditation and mindfulness, even that heart should be included, because the evolution happens, because people who believe in the principle of evolution or the experience evolution, they know the role of feelings. So that is why the most important book today was this book was written by Oliver Robinson. So he wrote the book called Path Between Head and Heart, where we can see almost all the principles discussed by all the religions being studied under the framework of a scientist, of a thinker who does meditation. That is what is needed for today. So today, actually, I wanted to share these three things with IFSS attendees. First thing is the path of between heart and head and heart. We need to explore the 7 principles. The second thing is breathe. Breathe from a perspective of a doctor, and she calls today's age as a breathe inspired age. That is what she believes in. She wrote a book called Breathe by Dr. Ila Monga. That is what I wanted to share with you. And the third point will be Science Becoming by Paul Eves, because that is Spiritual Lives of Scientists. The book is an exploration regarding the spiritual lives of scientists. So these 3 things I thought would make on the platform of IFSS. This was a very initially encountered concept, spiritual lives of scientists. I have never encountered such kind of concept anywhere. But every scientist has a spiritual life. That is what we need to explore. This is what is the the book, The Paths Between Head and Heart, exploring harmonies of science and spirituality. This book, delivers the same basic principle. We are all holistic, but living in a very separatistic world. So how to regain that holism? How to regain that holism through journey between head and heart by practicing meditation is what this book is all about. But as we do practice, initially we cultivate a mind called practicing mind. But as we go into the journey of practicing mind, one needs to understand how the practicing mind, by understanding the principles of mind and nature authentically, the clear mind can be achieved, is what this book is all about. So in the journey, going through these principles, they really helped me actually personally. So these are the 7 things, and we can add 2 or 3 more things to this list also. So this is what one needs to understand, whenever we externalize our senses. So we got so much addicted and habituated to use our senses into the external mode. That is what science says, our senses are externalized, or they are tuned into the outer world. So that part becomes science. And people talk about inner engineering, inner science, but how far are we practicing, visiting or getting tuned into the inner world is what the entire spirituality is all about. Yes. As we do practice and the practice unfolds, we need to become more impersonal. But I see a lot of people who have this practicing mind poking their nose into the personal life of others. This is what makes spirituality most of the spirituality unscientific, because nosiness. All people are interested in other people's experiences, other people's life, and they call themselves as we are practicing meditation has become a fashion today, without really knowing the bottom fundamental principles of spiritual science. As you go in, you need to know the balance or the equilibrium point where other people's personal life becomes so immaterial for you. And most of the people, they don't sit with the principle that what is impersonal and what is personal. Whatever is going inside you should become your personal, not other people's personal life should become personal for you. That is where the role of spiritual science is so significant. And what kind of things are we making things impersonal? If at all we practice the real meditation technique, it should make us more impersonal regarding other people's personal life. And we need to be in a position to distinguish what impersonal and personal is all about. And the whole practice, we have to face so many challenges if we don't understand the basic principle, the distinction between impersonal and personal. And we talk so much about Don Miguel Ruiz things, don't take things personally. But with the practice of Anapanasati meditation, I see so many people unnecessarily interfering with other people's experiences. That is where this spiritual science pops in. What are essentials and what are non-essentials? We need to be clear and choice point. Everyone should know their choice point. And we don't allow other people to interfere in our own personal life, but we do interfere in people's personal life. So this is what spirituality is. Spirituality teaches, personality is anything which once you go inner, that becomes your personal. And our senses are so externalized, and we are in an illusion of going inside. But the practice, the meditation practice or mindfulness practice, whatever you, at a given moment, you take up, these are the things you need to really understand. Are these principles being established fundamentally? Then the spiritual journey, the spiritual science journey becomes more effective. The point is the efficiency of the journey is what this book is all about. Harmonics is how holistic you become by understanding the 3 principles called the separatism inside you is being bridged, and how conscious you become through your practice, and how much evolution means roll on. the journey from the head to heart is such a short distance, but it takes so much of practice to do that journey from the head to the heart. That is what meditation is all about. And the third functioning, is thinking and feeling. Most of the thinking zone people, with the practice of meditation, they should start their own feeling part, which we always are in disconnected with. How many sessions of meditation do we really feel is what the basic question is all about. People, even they close their eyes, go into meditation, and they even in the meditation session, they'll start thinking. They'll be in a zone of thought out zone, this is my priority thing, waiting for the answer. But from meditation perspective, we need to feel the body, we need to feel the emotions, we need to feel the feelings, we need to feel the environment. Even that feeling part needs to be in harmony with the thinking part. Only then the scientific meditation will be happening. And I got so attracted to this thinking and feelings on that. I missed in the starting days of my meditation. I was never into my feeling zone. I was always thinking what to read, how to read, what to tell others, because telling concepts to others was my priority rather than feeling what is happening in my meditation being the priority of meditation. Being in a zone we need to speak out, we need to reach people, rather being in a more fundamental state of meditation has become the priority of most of the people. That never makes service, because in service we need to reach people's core. We should not reach the surface of the people and be in a glamour or an illusion that we are rendering service to people. Because in Buddhistic literature, there is a book called "If you find Buddha on the road, kill him." That concept says, after a certain state of meditation, our own concepts become limitation factors for our meditation. The concepts which tell people, if we really don't understand them authentically, they will be the limitations for our own growth. And the n number of times we need to let go of our own limitation concepts which limit us, the concepts which we limit us, we need to let go n number of times in our sadhana. So the third part was more significant in my personal journey, thinking and feeling, because we go to the teacher thinking about what kind of questions would we ask him, rather than we never approach an environment or a community in a feeling mode. Most of the people, they in the spiritual science environment, they go to a community or to the teacher, to a class, to a concept in a thinking mode rather than in a feeling mode. That makes our approach more half-hearted, because until we decrease the separation existing within our own self, we never can approach a model or a concept or a technology which makes us holistic. So that is what is the basic point. Unless and until every meditator ends the separatism existing in their own system, the holism, perceiving holism becomes more impossible, because the approach itself is separatistic. So unless and until we make the meditation approach more holistic, by understanding these 7 principles inside every meditator, there is no point of then comes the fourth, empirical, transcendental. So everyone needs to think are we meditating? They use a terminology called beginners, seniors, experts. But in the spiritual literature, if an individual really does a practice more authentically or more regularly, authentically means more regularly, we transcend our own limitation factors which are limiting us. Those limitation factors can be in the mind, that can be in their emotions, that can be their physical habits. But the point is, what needs to be transcended and what needs to be empirical, there should be a balance between both the things. And most of the meditation people, they are zoned out because they want to be always in the space. Like, spaced out people, more always being in a zone called mechanical way of miraculous thinking. You tell anything to them, they are so spaced out that they talk to the space people rather than living on the earth plane. This is the most important thing, like for empirical and transcendental. Like, we need both the body and the soul education in a more equilibrium way, in a more balanced way. And people use this meditation technique to get spaced out. They don't face their physical life. They are not at all interested in the physical aspect of their life. Leaving jobs, leaving families, going into places where they like, and we emphasize in a philosophy called samsara in nirvana or nirvana in samsara. But most of the time, our personal life or our life is like spaced out, always in search of space, thinking of enlightenment or thinking of something, concepts which are theoretically transcendent. Now, how far are we empirical? How far are we facing challenges, physical challenges, physical issues, as well as how far are we overcoming the limitations and transcending them? That makes a spiritual journey from the head to heart more scientific. That is what I mean to say. Nobody says, be in the transcendental zone, avoid your physical aspect of your life is never the spiritual science aspect. You need to be more empirical. And the next thing is mechanism versus purpose. The purpose of life, we can really unfold the purpose of life once we understand the mechanism of our minds and brains. Most of the people, they use this terminology, they know their purpose of life, but and do you really know how to use your mind or your brain or your physical aspect of life more scientifically? That makes the journey from head to heart more scientific. If people if they focus on mechanism, they delete purpose part, and if they delete purpose part, they are not interested in the mechanism part. That makes a scientific spiritual journey more reality based. What I mean to say, it is more of reality based than illusionary based or glamour based. And the sixth point is some things in meditation, some experiences or some things which happen in meditation, they can never be verbalized. And even people try to verbalize those experiences. That is ineffable. Like, why we need to put them in verbal? Some things have to be experienced. The state of deep stillness or the state which touches your core, that can never be verbalized. That things, the experiences which can't be put into verbalized state, is what we need to experience in meditation. That makes spirituality more scientific. And the seventh thing is, there should be a balance between explanation and contemplation. And I see most of the disharmony in the world because now in the digital media, n number of people are talking about n number of things, and that I can literally feel like they are the tape recorders of whatever they just go on reading whatever they feel like reading, they read. But there should be some aliveness in whatever you speak to the other people, because the spiritual science is not only about explanation; it's about about the things we need to experience. The right word is contemplation. There should be a basic balance between explanation and contemplation, and then and only then the spiritual journey from the head and the heart become more scientific. These are the 7 things one needs to understand more authentically to make their journey more effortless and more natural. And 8th and 9th will be the spiritual science journey is more of vertical journey rather than more of, it's not an horizontal marketing thing. It's more of vertical journey inside your own selves. That is what head and heart are about. It's not about how much you have marketed the concept. It's about how much you have done the practice by in your life. That makes the journey of meditation from the head and the heart more authentic. And I've seen like most of the people are forgetting that vertical journey and more interested in their horizontal way of marketing the concepts, naming it as seva. And the next component of the journey for the path to head and heart will be like all concepts are abstract initially. Whatever happens in meditation, you enter it into the abstract worlds. You go enter there, gain something, and we need to come from that abstract world, get something concrete to this earth and change this earth. So from a time zone to the timeless zone, you go, you do the journey into the timeless zone, enter the treasury or get the solution part from that non-local domain. And from there, again, you need to come down to the time zone or the local domain to solve the issues of humanity. So there should be a harmony between abstract and concrete, the timelessness zone and time, vertical and horizontal. These principles are what you can see in every meditation book throughout the world. Meditation and metaphors. You enter Buddhistic meditation books, they talk about breath and how to become mindful. So they use a metaphor called air. Some Sufis, they use a metaphor called fire. Some Taoist culture, they use a metaphor called water. In the most of Hinduism-based books, all kinds of metaphors are used. So the common joining point in throughout the books which I have encountered was like, meditation and metaphors. And most of the people, they get orientation toward one metaphor and they think that other metaphors are not existing. So depending on the cultural background, depending on the country they come from, the culture they come from, meditation and metaphors, all metaphors are similar. So don't again create a distinguished line between claiming that there are different styles of meditation. No, there are never different styles of meditation. There are only different orientations towards meditation. But the process happening inside every individual who does practice meditation is same. So go through these 7 things and see the similarities and differences between the meditation things. And you can come to a conclusion that all meditations follow these 7 steps. All meditations, irrespective of the technique you follow, these 7 principles, these 7 ideals are what makes the meditation process more natural and more authentic. So this is what I wanted to share with you people, so that this concept can help you to make your journey from your personal head to your feeling heart more effortless, and it may save your own time and makes you more economical. So this is the first thing I wanted to share. And please read this complete book, The Path Head to Heart by Oliver Robinson. Spend some time with the book, and whatever you understand, your perspective needs to be shared on a different platform. So this is what was my first thing. And the second thing, what I wanted to share was, this is my favorite concept. Yeah. Strategizing energy in the age of burnout. She always speaks about breath-inspired life. I haven't seen nobody other than her using that word called, is your life being inspired by your breathing part? Breath-inspired life. And we people talk so much of breathing in, breathing out, but we how much of inspiration are we getting from that breathing in, breathing out is always unanswered. So, this is the basic book. Dr. Ila Manga, whatever is she calls most of the life, if at all we do the breathing part more naturally, Then the energy component which we get physically is what you call it as authentic energy. First, to understand what authentic energy is all about, we need to understand this zone. Source energy, body, mind, heart. That's the three things combined becomes intelligence. So what zone are we in is what the basic question is all about. Are we in the optimum zone? Are we in the danger zone? Or are we in the burnout zone? So this depends on the way you breathe. And we teach a number of people to breathe naturally, to breathe organically, to breathe in your own normal way. But how do we know, like, are we in the optimum zone, are we in the danger zone, or in the burnout zone? Most of the time, all meditators I see, like, observe them, they are in the burnout zone because in the state of claiming that, like, oh, we have to teach this concept to the people, and we never take care of our physical aspect. We are in the burnout zone because these are the symptoms of burnout zone, like, constant fatigue. I've encountered so many people in the name of, like, I need to do so much of spiritual service. They don't sleep, they don't eat, they don't breathe properly. They themselves will be in the burnout zone. Loss of meaning, depression, difficulty to self-motivate. I can motivate n number of people in front of me, but when the question arises to motivate myself, no, it doesn't happen. We talk all good things to others, but as far as that comes to us, we can never accept our own things, what we say to others. That is the first symptom of burnout zone. Then comes to the danger zone. Sleeping disorders, scattered focus. This is what I always talk about in classes. Like, with meditation, is your mind becoming more scattered or your mind becoming more unified? And there's a great book called Scattered Minds by Dr. Gaber Mate. He wrote a book called Scattered Minds. It's like, unless and until we deal with our own past traumas, with our own emotional components, with our own past memories, there is no point teaching others, because a scattered mind can never do service, more of efficient service. So, first, be the change you want to see in yourself rather than what the change you want to see in the society. And before the danger zone, there's a thing called optimum zone. We should be, like, more relaxed to teach others meditation, or you yourself to sit in meditation. Connected to body signals, open breathing, strong boundaries, emotionally intelligent, focused, self-motivated, well-rounded. Now, these three things are the energy map. Like, we can see either in the family, individually, or in the community, or in the workplace. These are the zones we encounter. Either we encounter this burnout zone, or danger zone, or an optimum zone. Now, taking this breath aspect of natural breathing or anapanasati meditation, now, how to transform these burnout zones to optimum zone, danger zone to optimum zone is the challenge of every individual. That's why, like, this spiritual technology has become more scientific nowadays. And there are some equations we need to understand and go through this book. This book is such a fantastic book. It gives you a complete picture of what breathing is all about. What makes us our journey more authentic is, like, how we breathe, what we eat, how we really understand our mental energies, our emotional components, and how we understand our feelings. These things make the energy formula, like, 7 laws of authentic energy plus awareness makes you more authentic. We never deal with our Rajoguna or Tamoguna or Sattvic Guna. The Sattvic means how rhythmic are we becoming in our spiritual practice. Rajoguna is, like, like a pendulum, 50-50. Whenever the mind says it is right, and whenever your feelings say it is right, 50-50. Rajo means we are unable to decide. That kind of factors are more in our mental body. Even the culture we live in is the Rajo culture. Nobody says meditation is wrong, but they don't feel it's okay when you become more scientific. And tamogunam, you said, like, more scattered parts, more lazy parts, more inertia parts. These three things are there physically, emotionally, and mentally. In the three domains, we need to deal with these three things. As we go to the mental level, it becomes more difficult to control the mixture of tamogunamu thoughts, rajogunam thoughts, or sattvic thoughts. Physically, it's okay. Like you are more of lazy. So to make you active, we can make you dance, but that doesn't apply for your mental body. So to know what authentic energy is all about, we need to know how breathing should happen more authentically. Go through this book, Breathe. It is so beautifully structured that, like, it gives the breathing component in your life gives you more of inspiration at every moment of your life. So this, and she also described about the importance of vegetarianism in this book: what to eat, when to eat, how much to eat. This is also a beautiful book, and she always tells the importance of sleep. Sleep cycle should become so natural. So this is the breath awareness plus conscious breathing gives you authentic energy. And I really don't know how many people are interested in becoming conscious, because scientific spirituality or any meditation should make every moment of your life, of every move of yours, should become more conscious. So that is what is the syllabus is all about. The mechanical movements in our life should slowly decrease, and the conscious movements in your daily life should increase. That makes us more authentic. So the Breathe book, the final fundamental point is breath awareness plus conscious breathing should make you more authentic energy. With the 7 or 9 principles of the journey from head to heart, this makes Anapanasati meditation more scientific. The spiritual part is more scientific nowadays, because this is being seen through the lens of science. Such kind of research works are coming out. So that is what I wanted to share with you people today, is like, science is playing an important role. Science is playing an important role in today's world. In 1990s, this was not the scenario. In 1990s, everything was either accepted or ridiculed. But as whenever the neuroscience research has been fastened up, the role of scientists in every area of spirituality, we can see from 2000 to 2023, I've seen so many scientists getting inspired from Yogananda Paramahamsa's Upayogi Atmakatha. Autobiography Yogi was the inspiration for most of the scientists whom I have encountered. Just I'll show you that this is the thing I wanted you people to read. Okay. This is the book, Science, Being and Becoming, The Spiritual Lives of Scientists. This is what is the third book which I wanted to share with you people, so that it makes a spiritual journey more scientific. That is why I was, as soon as I got a call from IFSS, I thought of what I need to speak about. Like, I need to speak about spirituality which is backed up by more of science. And I see less percentage of contribution either in spiritual society or where the contribution of scientific spirituality is more or less nowadays. Because unless and until you increase the contribution of scientific spirituality, there will be n number of distortions or n number of unnecessary things, unnecessary talks will be happening. So make the spiritual science be the fundamental thing, then most of the distortions or most of the non-essentials will leave the environment. That is what I believe in. So every organization which is aimed to do the perfect work or authentic work, they need to introduce more of scientific spirituality rather than the concepts given by more of mechanical machines speaking about these concepts. is really distorting the environment. So go through these books. This is what I do. This is what my passion was for the past 25 years. And this is what we contribute under the banner of Swaja Yoga, more of science-based, scientific, spiritual facts is what we like to spend our most of the time. So these three things, the path from head to heart, breathed by Dr. Ilamonga, and Paul J. Mills, Science, Being and Becoming, the spiritual lives of scientists. This really attracted me. So every doctor or every healer, they have their inner life is more spiritual. That is what we need to see, rather than what we argue of our own limitations. So this is what I believe in. These books are what my inspiration is all about. So these three things I found in I think in my last year journey. So I wanted to share with you people. So make use of these books, get some inspiration, and let your journey from your head to heart becomes more effortless. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Finding that balance, keeping the whole journey authentic. Beautiful, beautiful concepts, a great reminder for all of us. So friends, now is the time to ask questions. We do read a lot of books, right? And the books have a lot of concepts. So again, this has to be internalized with the contemplation and all that. So where do we find that balance? Because at some point, there is also that unlearning involved, right? Because more you read book, it's more and more of information, concepts. So how do you find that balance?
Only being we get balance by understanding, are we making the concepts more? Every concept or every thought has three zones. That is what we need to understand. The basic concept, every concept has an idea. Idea belongs to your intuitional body. We always forget the idea part of it. So the problem is we make the concepts more of mental furniture. So that is the issue. Don't make all the listening part or the reading part your mental furniture. Read books to understand the idea behind the paragraph or the sentence or the principle presented behind the concept. That makes you more of sattvic, more of intuitional. It won't cause a hurt you. What hurts you is you make all concepts to be used by you, to glorify you, to make your self-interest more. So that is what is the issue with book readers or Swajaya people. They read to show off to people that they are great readers. So please know the motive of intention of clear reading is, if you start reading books, you see the idea presented behind the books and you become that idea. Once you become the idea, you won't be limiting yourself. So every concept has three things. Idea part, ideal. Ideal is your mental principles. That is what we get identified with. It is very difficult to disidentify with. I'm a great reader. I'm a scholar. I'm a philosopher. These are the things which make you more mind-oriented. These concepts kill you because you don't see the idea part, which is more in the invisible zone, in the abstract zone. So idea, ideal and idol. This is how we make every concept an idol and create so many temples for the masters, because we see the physical concept, make the concept more physicality. So the flow chart or the algorithm is idol, ideal and idea. Once you reach that idea state or the zone of domain of idea, that becomes more of a rhythmic, more of a sattvic. That is what people needs to reach. So making the concepts, hearing the concepts and making them as your mental furniture will be vibrating to the level of your mental furnitures. Don't make only limiting your concepts to the mental body. See the idea part of it. That is what is the fundamental principle of Swajaya. We present books to people to see the basic principles presented in that book, see the essence of that book, rather than arguing about your point of view and others' point of view. We have never presented Swajaya to create more of cleavages. We created Swajaya to get the essence from every part of life. So Swajaya is about holism. It's not about a division. That is what is the point one needs to understand.
How did you come up with this Swatya Yoga concept, and what is the real essence of it?
I never created Swajaya Yoga. Brahmashi Patriji, he created Swajaya Yoga, and he, he friendly gave that flag to me to just carry it forward. That's it. He was the origin, he was the originator, he was the founder, he was the everything. I was basically in the initial stages, I was not interested in his taking this Swajaya Yoga to the public. Because slowly I overcame that resistance, and he was the person who handed over it to me. It got on a very one fine evening. He got this concept of. He asked me. Both of us prepared a brochure. So we sat down and wrote a brochure. And initially he named it as Jnana Yoga. So from evening to late night, now we prepared the brochure and ordered a pink color brochure. And I went home, and I really don't know what happened to him in the late night or early in the morning. He called me again, said that change that name from Jnana Yoga to Swajaya Yoga. Then I had to change the name to remove the Jnana Yoga part and change it to Swajaya Yoga. And we had that first session of Swajaya Yoga in Chennai. We conducted that session in Chennai. That session was Wisdom of Tarkam Solitarian. So we took all books of Tarkam to Chennai. We introduced all 100 books to Chennai people. For 2 hours, we spoke about those books and came back. That was our first session. Then after that, slowly every year, we do synchronistically, the fun part of it was we never get books in the bookstore. Whenever there's a second-hand bookshop in Lakadikapul. So whenever accidentally I go there, I see a book, more of scientific books there for 50 rupees, for 30 rupees. And I really don't know how people sell those books, such condensed books in so much of less rate. Most of the books, Sylvia Brownie or David Hawkins, or most of the books which have been cherished by people, we got in the least price. That too in second-hand bookstores, we get those books. It's like more of a synchronistic thing. Even the Bringers of the Dawn was one of the beautiful experience. One of the foreigner, he came from, I think, from Germany. He was on the way to Puttaparthi. So we were in the Karnool pyramid. He just came, visited the pyramid, handed over the book, the original Bringers of the Dawn, and he went to Puttaparthi. That is how we got that book, Bringers of the Dawn. And now so many people talking about gradients. But this happened in 98, 97. Somebody on the way to Puttaparthi just handed over the book to us in Karnool pyramid. That is how we attract books. I really don't know how the universe works, but this is how we have been attracting books throughout my journey with Patri sir. It was whenever you give right books to others, you attract right book. That is what I believe in. Those books which we read are the credit goes to should go to the book, because the books gives the inspiration to the head of the department, and the head of the department delivers that inspiration to the so-called pyramid masters. So all the background job is done by the books. So read books which makes you more authentic. Read books which makes you more inclusive, rather than making your ego shine or polish. Read books which makes you more of authentic or soul oriented.
When you say you have to differentiate between personal and impersonal, how can we survive in corporate world if we don't personalize organizational goals and perform?
You need to answer that question. Are you living for survival, or are you living for to become a co-creator? So all people, I create my movement of my life, doing the job. The job never is part of my life. My life, there is job. There is no job in my life. So are you doing the job for survival? It's okay. The personality, impersonal things happen. But are you being a creator? Like, do you want to create a life of hope, of happiness, and a life with healthful boundaries between individual and individual? Then you will never interfere in other people's life. So this is what is the distinction. Are you living a life for survival? It's well and good. You can interfere in anybody's personal life. But this part is like, we are living a life being more conscious creator. We want to create a life with healthful boundaries. If I enter into the personal life of Pakistan, you won't keep quiet. So all, irrespective of your corporate terminology or anything, the boundaries, if they're healthy, they're well and good. If the boundaries are unhealthy, then the aspects of how much conflicts are happening. So my whole session was like, if the conflict is running the show, then we need to incorporate the harmony part into it. Only harmonies can reduce conflicts. If people are so healthy, so happy by creating more conflicts within their own life aspects, it's well and good. Life will teach us how to reach the harmonious thing. So we can never be healthy with so many masks. Persona means masks. All masks, unless and until who is wearing that mask, we become so conscious, this problem can never be solved. That is what we are talking about. If you become conscious of entering other people's masks, then it gives so much of trauma to you, so much of conflicts to you. Impersonal is about how detached are you with the one's masks. Are you identifying yourself with the mask which you are wearing? You are so comfortable. Are you so happy? Then well and good. It makes you more traumatized. So many masks in the corporate world. I see so much of victimized or persecutors, or like, so many masks you wear in a corporate world. Are you really happy with that mask? Then become detached from those masks. Then that becomes, you become so impersonal. It's a question of attachment with the mask and detachment with the mask. That is what my answer is.